Hello, Alan Bradshaw here from the Management Advisory Service, and I'm here again with Professor Derek Mowbray. Hello, Derek.
Alan.
Very good to see you again. And in this short video, we're going to be talking about some half-day seminars that we're going to be running in 2011. That's the year it's coming up, isn't it, Derek?
It is, yes.
Yes, 2011, spring 2011. And these are going to be half days about the manager's code that MAS has developed recently. But the first thing I'd like you to tell us about, Derek, is just give us some very brief background before we talk about the content of these seminars.
Okay, well, the background to the development of the Manager's Code really occurred 2 or 3 years ago when I was observing the culture of the National Health Service as being somewhat dominated by bullying, absenteeism, sickness, psychological presenteeism, and wondered what on earth one could do in order to change that culture, to turn it into something much more positive, and to get much more engagement of staff within the NHS itself. And so the suggestion for a code came from a colleague and a friend of mine in the Institute of Healthcare Management, and I subsequently developed a code. The purpose of the code is really to act as an instrument to draw people's attention to the different behaviours that are needed in order to improve well-being and performance, and that's the basis for this code now.
And it's linked, isn't it, to, it's got some links to previous codes of conduct, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So our sort of generic title for this going forward is the Manager's Code of Conduct.
Yes, that's right. I mean, we think that the content of the Manager's Code has general application to all types of organisations, particularly those that want to improve their performance and have a sickness absence turnover rate which is unacceptable. And so the seminars itself is about how to develop your own personal manager's code for your own organisation.
Okay, great. So give us then, a brief summary of what we're going to be covering in these seminars.
Well, we'll start off by having a look at the background. We'll have a look at the threats against well-being and performance, the threats which create psychological distress at work, the features which cause stress, what are the characteristics, are they common features or are they things which only crop up once in a blue moon. Then we'll have a look at the sort of basic principles of managing people. How is it that we can control the responses of other people to do the sort of things which we want them to do within the context of organisations? We'll then have a look at the cultural beliefs and values behind organisations. What is it that they would like to express in terms of their values and in terms of their performance? And then we'll have a look at 3 specific things. Managing your organisation, which is how do you create a positive working environment and culture. Managing people, what sort of behaviours do you need in order to manage people. And then lastly, managing yourself, which is the creation, building up and sustainability of resilience at work. So we'll be looking at all of those 3 and then finally having a go at developing a code which may be relevant for the participants' organisations themselves.
Okay, one last question that I've got is that certainly with all the change that's going on due to the cuts and the review recently carried out by the government, stress is very high up on the agenda. In the most general sense, how can the Manager's Code help with the management of stress at work?
It helps in a number of ways. First of all, it's directed towards preventing stress at work. But the most important aspect of the code is the behaviour to do with attentiveness between managers and the people that they manage, because that is the only guaranteed way in which managers can identify people who may be suffering from tension, strain and stress and become engaged with them to resolve the problems which have caused that situation at that time. So the code directly speaks to issues to do with psychological distress at work, but its focus is to prevent stress from occurring in the first place.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks.